The weather's turning colder here, but I'm still working hard on my barn renovation project. Now that I've finished the walls, I'm moving on to the roof and the windows. So I've ordered my insulation. I'm waiting for that to be delivered. And I've also ordered a little scaffold tower so I can do the roof. But for now, I thought I would have a go at this window because all the windows need work. I'm going to have to either replace them or mend them. So this window is stuck. I'm not sure why. The hinges seem to be free, but they just won't move. So I can't open it. While I do think I could probably mend this window, like I was planning to just take out the glass, take out the putty, take off the paint, and then put them back with new putty and mend it. The problem with this one though is that it's just a window. It doesn't have a window frame. So this was just bricked up in here and there's nothing between the window and the bricks. So it would be really good if I could put a window frame in this gap and then a window inside that, because then that would be better for insulation and I could open the window more easily. That would mean though that I would need to make it from scratch because I would need different size panes of glass and different pieces of wood. So that is something I'm considering. But for now, I'm just trying to get this open so that I can maybe see what's going on behind here. Okay, so I got the window out. I broke the window, which is kind of a shame, but at least it's out. So the other pane of glass broke when this fell out, but I've got it out. Actually, now I can see why I was struggling with the hinges. The hinges are just completely rusted and fused, and it was actually held in by these nails. Okay, so it's kind of a shame that the glass broke when I took this out, the other pane of glass. But it's not that big a deal because I will probably have a go at making a new window for this window. Okay, so I've come up here to the kind of glass and window dump. This barn hasn't been cleaned out. It's full of old pieces of glass, old bits of broken windows. but I'm actually wondering if I can take any parts of some of these and reuse them to save time on like making some of the joints. So I'm going to look through and see what there is. So here is a window frame which might have some pieces I can reuse or cannibalize. There's also this one which is like an intact window, but I honestly think this is going to be too big. So even though these are the right kind of design of window, they're both too big because this window is already too big. The one I need, if I'm putting a frame in first, is going to be smaller than this slightly. So this one is way too big, this one is also too wide, but this one seems in better condition than this, so I might try and take the pieces of wood that are already window shaped and shrink it down into something else. So I'm going to take this one and see what I can do with it. So I think this window is solid enough for me to use. It's too big obviously for the hole, so I think I'm going to basically take it apart, sand these pieces of wood down, and then I'll have to cut them and make new mortise tenon joints for the smaller size I need. It'll save a lot of time because while I do want to learn to properly make windows, this time a lot of the work on the pieces of wood would already be done, so it would just be the joints I'd have to worry about and the frame obviously. But I think that's what I'm going to do, so I'm going to try and get this apart without breaking it too much and then sand it down and get it ready. So I've now finished sanding down all the old bits of window, and I've also removed all of the old putty. So these are ready for me to cut and make into a new frame the size I need. I've also cut the pieces for the window outer frame. I just need to join these with mortise and tenon joints. I'm putting this on hold though for now because my scaffold tower and the insulation just arrived, and I really need to focus on getting that done. I ordered insulation boards. It's called PIR insulation. I ordered this type because I can put it in between the rafters in the ceiling. I hired a tower scaffold platform because the roof was too high to reach on a ladder. The first thing I needed to do was fill some small gaps in the apex of the roof with expanding foam to stop any leaks. Okay, so it's time for the expanding foam now, and I'm going to wear this suit because it's so messy. I hope it'll be a bit easier now that I've got the platform, but we'll see. So this is how it's looking so far up in the top of the roof. Pretty horrible. So messy. But just like, it's so hard to spray the foam. One of the big problems is that you're supposed to hold this can of foam upside down and spray. It only comes out when it's upside down, but the problem is I can't get it. If I want to fit it in here, it can't be upside down because there's no room. So this is making me crazy. Oh. This is really annoying and stressful. Expanding foam is just a nightmare. It just, especially above your head, because it doesn't stick, it just falls out. I just got like a literal eyeful of expanding foam when I was looking up and spraying it and it fell. Even this doesn't make it easy. Ugh. Also, these pipes being here is so annoying because I can't get the frame any further and I've got hardly any space because of the pipe in the way. Oh. When I finally finished the expanding foam, I started cutting my insulation boards to size. This was quite a difficult job because the roof being so old, all the spaces between the rafters are different and some of the rafters are warped, so the measurements were all over the place and I had to shave down the boards even after I'd cut them accurately to size to make them fit. So I've finished the centre of this roof now, where the roof meets in the middle, and I'm happy with how it's looking. So now I'm going to take the scaffold down, take it in the other room, build it in there, and do the same in that room. Because I only had the scaffold for a limited time, I prioritised the highest up bits of the roof. I finished the central apex part of the roof in one room, and then I moved the scaffold into the other room to do that bit in there, just in case I ran out of time, because the lower parts of the roof I can do standing on a table if I really have to. The only time it was really a problem was if I accidentally cut a board too small, just slightly too small, because it needs to be a very tight fit in order for it to stay in there by itself, because there's no glue or anything holding it there. It's just hammered in with a block of wood. So there were a couple of boards that I cut, and then when I slotted them in, even though I thought I measured really carefully, they kind of fell out because they were just a millimetre too small. So that was really annoying, and some of them I had to kind of tape onto the side a tiny slither of extra insulation just to get a tight fit. While I had the platform, I also did a few other things high up in the roof, like sanding down with the angle grinder the rusty metal supports for the pipes. I think I'm going to paint these afterwards just to make them look a bit better. The insulation boards were quite easy to cut and nice to work with. I found that the best way was to measure the top of the space and the bottom of the space and then cut that sized slice off the board. And then once I got up there, I used the saw to scrape away the side of the board if it was too wide, and I used a mallet to sort of smash down some of it to get it to fit neatly. This was the first time I'd done anything like this, so it definitely wasn't a perfect job, but I'm pretty pleased with what I achieved in the week that I had the scaffold. I didn't finish everything. I actually also ran out of insulation boards, which was weird because I thought I really calculated carefully how many I'd need, but somehow that kind of thing always seems to happen. The good news is I finished all of the parts that I need a scaffold for, so when I can get some more boards, I'll be able to finish the lower parts by standing on a table or the step ladder.